All right, we've got about 81% people who have responded. Let me end the poll and share the results. So I see the most common platform nowadays, I believe, is then LinkedIn because people hear a lot of professional stuff from LinkedIn, and that's where most of you have heard about this course from. And right, I'll start the webinar right away. Thank you everyone for joining in. I'm Captain Gaurav Rana, and welcome to this webinar wherein we are going to discuss about the advanced course which we are starting in a week's time. Just to give you, there are a few of you who would have attended our um, previous webinars as well, and just for this one. The context is that we started commercial course. The reason for starting the commercial course was and is that in shipping companies they are struggling to get the right kind of talent, especially on the commercial side and in a couple of more domains as well, but on the commercial side. And a lot of us, mariners, non-mariners, maritime professionals essentially would like to get into the commercial space. And there is this gap which we have seen, which we have done a little bit of research by talking to a lot of companies. And we wanted to address this gap wherein we are able to provide skilled maritime professionals which companies can hire. So in view of this, we started our course on foundation level course on commercial shipping, which ended a couple of weeks back with the visit to Cargill's office. And few of the persons who visited that or who attended the foundation level course are also here. But that foundation level course has finished. But uh, the idea is to get into the advanced level course. And over here, we're going to talk about the advanced level course. Over here, we're going to talk about the industry, how it's shaping up, about the companies, how are they hiring talent? Is there any issues which you are facing? So that's what we are going to talk more in this particular webinar. Now, our focus in this webinar again is to increase your awareness about the macro level market scenario and also the micro level, which means that more of the company level. Uh, we provide you consolidated information. A lot of times you hear from a friend of a friend of a friend, but we provide you information directly from senior industry experts, which you can evaluate the relevance of that information so that you can take a well-informed decision. And also benefit from the questions which your colleagues, which your contemporaries ask. So we should have about 150 odd people joining this webinar. They would have some questions. You may have missed a question, so you can hear what these questions are and then take a decision. On the questions part, on how we engage, you may submit the questions now, or which mean whenever you have a question, you may submit a question, but we would probably take that question at the end of the webinar because we don't want to break the flow. And we'll try to keep the questions a little bit more generic in nature. One-to-one specific questions may be answered after the webinar. Right. And we move on to the next slide. We've got in the today's webinar, we've got 4 presentations essentially. Our esteemed panelists today are Krishnan sir, Mr. Krishnan Subramaniam. He's the International Vice Chairman of Institute of Chartered Ship Brokers. And mind you, when I say international, it means it's not for a particular branch. It's at the global level. And Krishnan sir is the first non-British person to be at this position, and he would take over as the chairman as well in the coming months. He's also a strategic advisor at Transworld Group, and he has worked previously in various commercial roles in India, in Singapore, and in Dubai as well. So he's based in UAE right now. We also have Captain Ashok Sharma. He's of course a master mariner, and then he's worked in commercial shipping for more than a decade. He is currently in Singapore, and Captain Ashok is the managing director of BRS Bakshi at in Singapore. We also have Mr. Vikas Gadoo, and the idea is that all the industries are changing and are digitalizing themselves. And Vikas over here, who's a co-founder at Integrated Maritime Exchange, provides that tech flavor to this particular course, or a tech flavor to the industry through his software as well. So he'll tell us how in this course the technology would be leveraged and how would you be able to see the software. We of course have Dr. Abhay Singh Thakur as well, who is the assistant professor at the Gujarat Maritime University. He's also a board member. And he'll give us perspective of various courses which are available. What is the demand of the courses? Why industry needs a course if at all? So he'll give that view as well. Let me take one poll at this point from all of you, and this poll is: what is your rank? All right, 1 second. I'll just have to. Okay. So you should have a poll in front of your screen. That poll is: what is your rank? So we've introduced you to the speaker so that all of you know what kind of audience we have in this particular webinar. So if you could advise, are you top 4 sailing? Are you sailing at an operations level? Have you settled ashore after sailing and you never went to sea? So all right, I've got about 80% of you who have voted. Wow. Probably this time we have the most even participation across the 4 functions. We've got top 4 sailing 30%, but at all the other 3 levels, we've got 23% each. So I think that's a first for us. Generally, we've had more on the top 4 sailing side, but good to see this participation. And once again, I will discuss the agenda. The agenda is more about the commercial shipping evolution, the activities which are happening in a company, the demo of a software, overview of the course available. So that's essentially what we are going to talk about. I'm happy to introduce Mr. Krishnan. Krishnan sir, as I had earlier said, is the International Vice Chairman of Institute of Chartered Shipbrokers. He works out of UAE, but is currently in UK. It's early morning, very cold. And thank you, sir, for being here at the webinar. And it'll be great to, hear from you about, how the industry is progressing in terms of, are the decision makers? How is it growing? To have a macro level overview from you about the industry, please. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Good morning to all of you. Am I visible and audible, Captain?
Absolutely, you are.
Great. Thank you very much once again for this opportunity to participate, and really encouraging to see the level of interest growing from the last time when we did the intro program. And we have almost 80 plus participants in the room today. So to give you a perspective as to why you all of us see an increase in this kind of specialized courses. So we always have to go back and say why, in terms of what is the real need? Is there a market need? Is there market demand? This was never the case maybe 10 years back or 20 years back or almost 40 years back when I started my career. I never sailed, I never went to sea, but then I started off with a job in Bharat Petroleum in Kandla, one of the busiest port, and that's where we were inducted into this aspect of oil logistics, terminaling, tankers, etc. And then many of us who joined us, management trainees, we went through the company induction and training programs. And then, of course, I got an opportunity to join Shell, the chemicals division, logistics division in Dubai and then in Singapore. So traditionally, it has always been where you're a graduate or you have a general acumen, and then you're recruited by the companies, and then you're taken on board. You go through the training programs, you go through the ranks in terms of getting a promotion, upgradation based on your skill set. But this has changed a lot with respect to how companies look at skills, how companies look at recruitment, what kind of skill sets are required in today's world. And I would say that the pace of change is much, much faster in the last 10 years as compared to what was there in the last 40 years. So looking at, say, when you look at, say, pre-C, post-C courses, they're all very structured. It comes from the international conventions onto the national level of regulations and guidelines which are there, which is pretty much structured. But when it comes to the commercial side, that's where I would say that there's more and more responsibility on the individuals to ensure that they're equipped for a career, Ashok. Irrespective of whether you went to sea and then want to come back and start a career in commercial shipping, or you never went to sea, but then you are interested in the commercial aspects of shipping. So where do you start? Or if you're already working, how do we ensure that you progress or you get to those kind of functions? Because shipping is so vast. Every time I speak to another person or meet a new person, you just realize that how much you don't know. so that's the level of it's as vast as the sea, as deep as the sea. So therefore, the responsibility has come back, or it is much more on individuals today when it comes to jobs, Ashok. So that's where I would say that programs like this, where there is a complete focus on this particular domain in terms of commercial shipping, that too within chartering and shipbroking has become much, much more relevant. The ICS, many of you may be aware, it's a 100-plus-year-old institution, the only one who's there by Royal Charter to provide or to conduct examinations and give a certification as a professional qualifying examination. And then, of course, once you progress as a fellow, you are titled as a chartered shipbroker. So ICS is the only body. Of course, you've got a lot of other bodies who do trainings, who do certificate programs, but with respect to the authorization or the authority given by the Royal Charter, it's only the ICS. So yes, there also the objective is the same in terms of by the professionals, where we are all working professional practitioners, and we bring back the knowledge back to the classroom. So me and Captain Gaurav, we were in seminars in Chennai last month, where one full day we just discussed this aspect of education. And then, of course, as ICS, we met with universities. So we went to them and said, okay, how can we collaborate? How can we add value to you so that we bring back the relevance to the classroom and the graduates are much more job ready. So having said that, what is today's scenario in terms of job opportunities, progression? So the traditional hubs still remain, starting from, you talk about London, Singapore, you've got the US, and then you've got Dubai also, which is fast. It's already developed, I should say, as a shipping hub in terms of all the practitioners being there, including finance, insurance. And then, of course, India. The market is growing. You look at the vision, America Vision 2047 and the Maritime Vision 2030, which is being expanded. And the kind of activity which I see today is the growth is exponential. So there are opportunities, which will which will continue to be there. Sorry, Gaurav, you were starting something.
No, I think Gaurav, you're probably sharing your screen.
No.
Okay, it's not you. All right, that's fine now.
Okay, sorry. So therefore, how do companies recruit, when it comes to entry levels? So there are opportunities which comes, and many of them start off in, say, the operations department or the post fixture department, where you get you work along with the brokers. So I'm talking about, say, a broking house. Now we can divide it into three main groups. One is you've got the brokers, then you've got the charterers, you've got the ship owners. So the broking house, big broking houses, yes, you start out with operations, you start out with post fixture, and then based on your learning capability and then additional theoretical knowledge with programs like this, or other certification programs, and then you demonstrate that you're capable of moving into being a real broker, right? So there again, market knowledge and communication, relationship building. So how you deal with potential stakeholders, how much do you know about the market? And when you talk about the market, it's not just about the shipping market. Yes, you need to have a knowledge of what is happening with respect to new buildings, with respect to supply and demand of tonnage, right? And by this time, normally a candidate would be able to identify, oh, my interest is more in tankers. Within tankers itself, you've got specializations. You could be specializing in chemicals or gas or crude or CPP, DPP. So within that, also within gas, also now you got LPG, you got LNG. Each of them are highly specialized and deep sectors. So in the initial couple of years, you should be able to figure out where your interest lies, and because then you have to really be focused in terms of developing that particular segment. And then, of course, you go into dry cargo, you go into project cargoes. So a big broking house would probably have a desk for each of this, right? So that's how you normally a general pattern which is there. Coming to a ship owner's house, again, it can be very, very varied. So I worked initially for a ship owner, handling commercial for chemical vessels, those pure chemical tankers. But then today I'm with a ship owner, but I'm more into the ship acquisition and deployment strategy side. So there also it can be, there's a huge variation and or a variety which is there. But of course, if it's an owner who's doing commercial operations as well, or it's a pool operator or just a commercial operator, again you start off in operations and then slowly build your capability, right? When I say capability, it's about being on the job as well as looking at what additional theoretical knowledge you need to acquire. Looking at the charterers side, yes, then again there's a variety. Somebody could be a producer, charter shipping out huge volumes, or somebody could be just a trader where the chartering is a smaller activity. But my experience is that you start off with a smaller trading house, you learn much more because one of the very important things where a commercial shipping person should know is what's happening in the commodity market, right? And so when you're specializing in a particular field of shipping, whether it's dry cargo or a particular tanker segment, excuse me. So it's very important that you know what is happening in the commodity market, all the related trading activities, because shipping is a derived demand, and what we do depends upon where the cargo is moving, how it is moving, right? So this is a broad perspective. I will stop here, and then after the others have also given their insights, I'd be happy to take questions. Thank you, Captain.
Thanks a lot, sir. Let me have a quick poll from all the audience in terms of what do you guys feel, in your opinion, how is the commercial segment increasing, especially in context to India? Do you feel that when in India, there are a lot of more commercial activities happening than before? Do you agree? You don't have much of an idea, or maybe what do you feel? And after this, we will request Captain Ashok to give his inputs about how it's the micro view about the companies. What kind of talent are they looking at? How are they shifting base, if at all? How are the activities happening? So we then request Captain Ashok to speak. All right, we've got about 80% of you who have voted, and it's been a minute, so I'll end the poll and share the results. So 73% of you feel it's strongly yes, and let's have Captain Ashok, address this question in terms of what does he feel about the commercial activities in India, and give his perspectives as well. Over to you, Captain Ashok.
All right. Can you see me, Gaurav?
Yes, sir. Can see you and hear you loud and clear.
Okay. A question, gents. We're talking about commercial shipping, right? There's shipping, then there's commercial shipping, there's technicals, there's operations. What is commercial shipping? Can anybody give me an answer? Does anybody have an idea what we're going to talk about today? And what is the commercial shipping course? What are we targeting? Any wild guess, anything. It's a very simple answer, but any wild guess.
Avtans, you've raised your hand. You may go ahead. Others may just write in the chat window and we'll take it from there. Avtans Raj, you may speak.
Morning, sir, to one and all over here, and morning to Captain Ashok. Sir, to be precisely, I'll give you the answer. The commercial side means the all the activities which are related to the handling of cargo, to the transferring the logistics of the cargo from one when the it is reached to the port of discharge or where it is to be loaded. So that is all called as a commercial side of shipping, dealing with all of the ship owners, and being the bridge between the charterers and the ship owners. So that is all we can specify between the commercial side of the shipping. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other input?
Captain Shiv Kumar has raised his hands. Captain Shiv, over to you.
Okay. Yes. So the thing is, what I understand from commercial shipping is the end-to-end management of our uh, ship in terms of gaining profits, management of getting the cargo. It can involve being the
Anybody wants the extension beyond 11:40, please
broker themselves,
write the timing.
or be involved in making decisions on the goods transport, variety of goods transport in the shipping sector. The other elements that comprise can be said to be the management of buying, selling of the vessels, management of the vessels, the staff including, as well as the main core thing will be about the business aspect of transporting the cargo from one place to another and realizing profit from that.
Okay. Anybody else?
A lot of persons who have written in the chat window. It's except what the two gentlemen said. The other answers are related to export and import, back-end activities of cargo shipping, transaction of merchant cargo, which has already been informed, all post-fixture activities, handling of money part of shipping.
Who said that?
Handling of money part, Siva Kumar.
Okay. Shiv Kumar More, is it?
No, that's another Siva Kumar only.
Anybody else?
Ganesh has raised an hand, and Ganesh, you may speak.
Okay, last one. Let me know. What does Ganesh say?
Hello everyone. Hello,
Hi,
Ganesh.
am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. From my point of view, commercial shipping is the a business transaction from which we calculate the profit for transporting the cargo from one place to another place. So, from my understanding, we look at the commercial part of the overall voyage. That's what my understanding.
Okay. There are 4 or 5 of you who answered, and if you just you take all the answers, put them together, and put them in a juicer and come out with a smoothie, the answer is freight. Commercial shipping deals with freight. That is what we are here for. That is what we are targeting. People who got exposure in the shipping industry and are looking to get involved in the freight aspect of commercial shipping. Everything you said, carrying cargo, post fixture, transactions, profits, everything. It's all to do with freight. So the commercial shipping department in any company, whether it's a charterer, a broker, or a ship owner, they deal with freight. A technical superintendent doesn't deal with freight. A marine operations guy does not deal with freight. A commercial operations guy, commercial operations manager, or commercial operations superintendent, he deals with freight. So there are 3 very clear subdivisions in the operations of a shipping company. One is commercial, which is what we are talking about. Then there's operations and there's technical. So leave operations and technical aside. We're just going to talk about commercial. So this is the perspective. I'll give you a short introduction to myself. I am based in Singapore. I'm the manager. I set up this company it's a joint venture company between a French broking house, which is Barry Rogliano Salis, which is top 5 broking houses in the world. And it's about 155 years old, 160 years old now. And JM Bakshi, which is a 110-year-old company, 108 now, 108-year-old company. It's a joint venture. We're based in Singapore. We set up this joint venture in 2012. So we've been going for about 12 years now. I myself, I sailed for about 20 years, predominantly on tankers. And I was a captain for 10 years. Again, predominantly on tankers, all sizes, from handy-sized tankers to ULCCs. And I have been a broker. I'm a broker. BRS Bakshi is a broking house. I've been a broker for about 14 years now. So my overall experience in the industry is about 44 years, operations and commercial. Operations being on the shipboard side. And on the shore-based side, I've been out and out commercial. Okay. So we're talking about the freight aspect of shipping. I like to call it commercial shipping. Remember one thing, there are only 2 avenues which a ship-owning entity has for revenue. One is earning of freight. The earning of freight is, of course, you sublet the space on your ship for a charterer to carry cargo on it, and for the use of the space on your ship, he pays you a freight, a rent, or a lease, which is called freight. Of course, there are various kinds of ways to earn freight. There can be a spot cargo. There can be a long-term. There can be a long-term time charter, short-time charter, contract of freight, a lot of things. Of course, these things we will discuss when we turn to the more academic side of things. Right now, we're just giving you a bird's eye view of what commercial shipping is, or what our perspective of commercial shipping is, and what we are looking to train people to get a deeper insight into. So the second avenue for revenue, for a ship owner is, of course, sale and purchase of the asset itself, which very often gives a higher gives a higher contribution or a much larger contribution to the bottom line, depending on the timing. But between the time the owner buys the ship and he sells the ship, it is freight, which provides the energy, or provides the input to the bottom line. Buying and selling of a ship is extremely important. In fact, a lot of people just buy a ship and then they will just trade it for freight until they can sell the ship for a decent return. Sometimes the return could be in several 100% of the price that they paid to buy the ship, or several, it could be 80, 90, 50, 60, 70, 80% of the cost they paid to buy the ship. But here we're not talking about, my aspect is, I don't think we're going to talk so much about sale and purchase. That is purely a top management activity. And you don't recruit for that, because very often you find it's the owner of the shipping company who's directly involved in that. He's rarely going to involve, he's rarely a ship owner, or a ship owner is hardly going to hire somebody to trade a ship on the sale and purchase market. Is very often done between the senior management, the finance people, and brokers. And S&P broking is a whole different specialized field. I think we should be very clear in our head that we're talking about freight. Now, freight, the earning of freight is divided into, again, I would say the whole business of earning freight is divided again into three sub verticals. The top at the forefront or the front line is, of course, the broker or the chartering manager, whatever you'd like to call him. He is the one who faces the market to buy, to sell the space on a ship. In a ship owner's office, he will be out to sell or lease the space on a ship in order to earn freight. In a charterer's office, it'll be maybe a chartering manager, a chartering executive, a commercial manager, whatever, or a freight lead or whatever. He faces the market in order to purchase freight or lease the freight in to carry his cargo. And the third aspect of and the third player, the major player in the freight earning scenario is, of course, the broker. Very important, although there's been a lot of effort over the last 20 years, ever since I came into broking over 20 years, to try to reduce the cost of hiring a broker or using a broker to arrange for a ship's employment. But it's not been very successful, because when you do come to the course later on, and we will explain to you how freight trading is such a very personalized exercise. It depends so much on the people involved. In fact, there's a concept that everybody will be well advised to absorb, is that the freight market, there is no physical freight market. The freight market is intellectual. The freight market is mental. The freight market lies in the minds of the freight brokers, whether it's the charterer's office or the owner's office or the broker's office. That is where the freight trading takes place. It doesn't take place on a screen. Freight trading doesn't take place on a screen. Data may be available on a screen, but the actual trading takes place mentally, between a ship owner and a charterer, and very, very, very I think way over 90% of the time with a broker in the middle. So these are the three main aspects of freight trading, or three main actors in the freight trading stage. And the person who owns the ship is, of course, the ship owner. The person who owns the cargo very often is the charterer, but not all the time. And of course, the ship owner, there's a definition, there's a sub-definition of a ship owner. A ship owner could be the guy who owns the title to the ship. A disponent owner could be a person who actually owns the right to commercially trade the space on the ship. And there are various definitions of owners. There's a head owner, there's a disponent owner. That's good enough to know. Then there are various different kinds of charters, time charter, bareboat charter, which, of course, you will be able to get a better appreciation of once you do get into the academic side of things. And the broker is the middleman. The broker is actually a market maker, because typically a broker speaks to anywhere between, a very good broker has 5 clients, maybe between 5 and 10 clients who support him, who he does business for, or he does business with. And uh, and then there may be about 20 or 30 other persons, owners and charterers and other brokers whom he actually speaks to. So the broker has a macro perspective of the market. The micro perspective is handled. Of course, he has an appreciation of the micro perspective of the market as far as the ship owner and the charterer go. He has to, because he's providing them a service. But obviously, the ship owner and the charterer will have a much deeper micro perspective than the broker of their own market. The broker has a greater macro perspective because he talks to a lot more people. He's not involved in trading, say, a $200 million crude oil cargo. So can you imagine the pressure involved in trading a $200 million cargo, which is typically could be a full cargo in a VLCC. So presuming that crude oil costs $100 a barrel, but today crude oil is $70 a barrel, it's still a $140 million cargo. Can you imagine the pressure of trading a $140 million cargo? So a charterer who's actually trading that cargo or involved in trading that cargo does not have the mental bandwidth to focus on the market from which he's trying to purchase the freight or lease the freight. He doesn't have the bandwidth that the broker will have to to be able to assess what the market conditions are. Similarly, a ship owner is dealing with let's take a VLCC, which is a bellwether. For me, a VLCC is the bellwether of the tanker market. A VLCC today, a new building VLCC costs $120 million. So you're trading the space on a $120 million asset. Again, a ship owner's chartering manager will not have the mental bandwidth because he's so focused on handling the $120 million asset and everything that comes and all the complications and sophistication that comes with having to deal with such an expensive asset, which costs you tens of thousands of dollars on a daily basis just to break even on. So it's the broker who is your market maker, who both the charterer and the owner look to get an idea of where the market should be, what the market is doing. They don't, let me tell you, they almost never accept the broker's opinion on what the freight should be and what the market is, but they are guided by it. That I have absolutely no doubt in my mind about. So we have a broker. Like I told you, broker is the frontline man. You have a commercial operations person who's dealing with he really comes into the picture when the ship is fully fixed. A ship is fully fixed when there is a firm contract between a charterer and a ship owner to freight a certain consignment of cargo. So he really comes into that, but he does get involved while the ship is being negotiated between the charterer and the ship owner as well. And he's the commercial operations guy, but he's not as involved in the speed and what is the port costs and the bunkering and stuff like that. That's all a marine operations job. Commercial operations is more involved in supporting the function of the chartering manager in order to gain employment for the ship and giving him proper inputs to make sure he makes the correct decision while finalizing the contract to freight the cargo. Then so we've spoken about the broker or the commercial or the chartering manager or the freight manager, whatever you want to call him. You've spoken about the marine operations guy, and then you've the commercial operations guy. Sorry. Now we are talking. Thirdly, we are talking about the claims executive, the claims manager, the demurrage. Now these persons, they come into the picture. To support the voyage once it's fully fixed, to monitor the voyage, yes, but their real functionality comes to the fore when the voyage is completed, like filing for claims, like demurrage claims, war risk claims, any port costs that are on charter's account, the negotiations for the demurrage, etc., etc. They will follow up the they will follow up the entire process of the charter party from the time the ship was fixed to the time from the time the ship was fixed to the time the ship is finally discharged the cargo and sailed out. They will follow the last portion. They will follow the last leg of executing the voyage by following up on the claims. Sometimes the claims people follow up on the freight as well, but that's more a commercial operations job. So these are the three people involved, or three functionaries involved in the freight department, and whether it's a charterer's office or an owner's office or a broker's office, these three functionaries have to exist. Only thing, their employers are either a charterer or an owner or a broker. So that's about it for now. This is what our explanation of the charterers of the freight earning organization is across the three main actors in the commercial market.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you. Thanks for first of all engaging with everyone to have their views on what actually commercial ops means, and then give an overview of the various stakeholders and the various players and their functions. Thank you so much. We'll now move to the more tech side of things, right? And why tech? Because when I was designing the course, when we were talking to companies, a few companies told us that they would like a person, coming into the office, know what kind of softwares do they work on, what is the role of the software, and what all can be done. Because just an overview and understanding of the software and the various stakeholders and how they use it gives a lot better perspective. And that's the reason why we have Mr. Vikas Gadoo. Vikas is the co-founder at IME, and he's of course has patents in his name. He has worked across the industry, across various regions, countries, and he's not a mariner. He's probably not from the commercial shipping, but his knowledge about commercial shipping can be as good as any one of the experts here. He's kind of bringing he's developing the software after talking to a lot of them. So Vikas, over to you, and if you could guide us, help us with the software which we are using, and how will it be leveraged in the course, and what the people would gain. Over to you.
Sure, Gaurav. Thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for having me here and giving me this opportunity. My name is Vikas Gadoo. I am the co-founder of Integrated Maritime Exchange. First of all, let me tell you about myself. As Gaurav mentioned, I do not have any experience in going to the sea. I do not have any experience in commercial shipping until last year, when I decided to pack my bags and start developing this software for maritime domain. So I'll quickly give you a brief overview. So last year we decided that we identified the gaps that we have in commercial shipping industry. We realized a lot of the stuff that we are doing is very, very manual. And even if there are softwares floating around, I'm talking more about enterprise solution. I'll come out to the education a bit later. But from the enterprise side, the software is getting used. A lot of the stuff we are doing is very, very manual. And even if there are softwares floating around in the market, they're very, very expensive. So we thought the time is right to bring digitalization in maritime industry. We think maritime industry is still in digitalization, is still 10 years or 15 years running behind than other industries. So that is where we come in. We have developed AI-based products for enterprise versions. I'll show you in next couple of minutes. What we try to cover is from fixing the business, finding the business, to fixing the business, to damages, to claim settlement. We have tried to identify. We have identified 15 products. We have tried to find the gaps that we have in the operations, and we have tried to fix those with our AI-based maritime products. Now, coming back to the education. So this is more from the enterprise perspective, but from education perspective, We also realized when we were talking to these companies, to enterprises to sell our solutions, we also realized that the companies told us that the resources, the people that are coming in to work for them, especially at entry level, there is a lot of gap. They are well versed in the theoretical part, but when it comes to the actual implementation, actual practical part, that's where they think they are lagging, and they do not have much hands-on experience on software. That's where we come in as well. We now have an education. We have two product variants. One is for the enterprise customers, which is more sophisticated, more AI based. And then we have a simpler version for the education enthusiasts who would like to explore whatever they learn in their training session, whatever they learn in their training sessions, they can actually implement and do those things hands-on on our software and gain that expertise that they need when they actually start working for the industry. So that's where IME is. I'll quickly walk you through what our software does. I hope I can share my screen. Just bear with me for a second. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
Great. I'll try to keep it. Okay. I'll minimize it here. So this is our website called Integrated Maritime Exchange, the imehub.com. What we have here, what you see here is finding a ship, finding a cargo. So we have a marketplace, a toned down version for the education enthusiasts. So we allow you to find a ship, find a cargo, do lay time calculations, do voyage estimations, and do port to port distance calculations as well. So if you look at this, I'll start with something very simple. So I think in the previous participants, they did explain what the different roles are in commercial shipping industry. So if you look at this, this is our software. Every person who registers into the software is assigned a role. The role can be of a broker, a charterer, a ship owner, or a ship operator. So this is the kind of role that we assign to you when you actually gain access to the software. Once you do that, if you look at this, we have created different tool sets. I'll come to the marketplace late at the end of this session. But we have built, for example, a voyage estimator. When a ship owner or a broker on a charter, they get an offer that they have to do a voyage. Is that voyage beneficial? I mean, how much money will they make on that voyage? Is a voyage estimator. We have built an online tool for you, a very, very manual tool. As I said, this is a toned down version. We have a very fully automated version for the enterprise industry. But here, this allows you to explore what are the factors that actually are involved when you're estimating your voyage. And you do enter all this manually. It is a very intuitive tutorial. And then once you go in here, I'll just quickly show you how the results are. It clearly tells you what is the cost per metric ton and where will you achieve the break even. And if you want to make more money, how much you should be charging. And then this gives you, this is a full updated voyage estimator that you have here. Coming back to the other tool, which is a lay time calculator. I think our previous participant, Captain Ashok, also touched base on demurrage. So we are talking here about the lay time calculations. So lay time calculations tells you when a ship is at a port, how much time is it supposed to spend at a port, and then how much time did it actually spend on a port. So we have built our fully automated lay time calculator. But again, this is for the industry, for the enterprise customers, where they don't have to do much. They just have to upload a statement of facts and upload a charter party and just click on submit. And that's where the magic begins. It calculates everything. It accepts any format that's floating across the globe or any charter party that's there in the market. But for the enterprise, for the students, what we have done is we have built a very, very manual version where you have to enter everything. You have to refer to a SOF and then start entering these details one by one. And then it creates all the events for you. I'll quickly show you how I'll not go into detail, but for this session, I'll show you how our lay time calculations, once you upload these documents, so this is how the UI looks. So it tells you what is the ship's name, where is the voyage going from, how much lay time is it allowed. It also tells you every event that's there in SOF, it reads that event automatically. It assigns the utilization. But for the students, what we want is, we don't want to give them or do want the software to do everything for them automatically. So that is where we have made a very, very manual version for you, which is a manual one. So you can use this. Coming back to our port-to-port distance calculator, a marine distance calculator, which is very simple again to use. You would have seen a lot of this software floating around as well. So let's try Singapore to Rotterdam, and it tells you the shortest route. It tells you the bunkers along the route. It gives you a lot of those details. So that's other tool that we have built, which you can utilize. And once we are done with this, I'll show you quickly and see. It clearly tells you from point A to point B. It tells you the route, how it's, and what are the, if there's a bunker in between. It gives you all the details. We can have a detailed session around this, but for the sake of time, I'll move on to the marketplace that we have created. Again, a toned down version where you can role play as a ship owner or a cargo owner. And let's assume that you are a cargo owner and you're looking for a ship, and you can choose what type of ship you're looking for. You can choose what dates are they open, what is the DW deadweight here, which ports are they open, and it lists all those ships for you. And then it tries to match a cargo as well. Let's say for this ship number 1, which is an oil tanker, we'll try to find a cargo. We have added the data here is all simulated, is all the data that we have added manually. It's not the real data, but that's where it comes in, right? You can have a team of your students. Some can act as brokers, some can act as owners, some can act as charterers, and they can actually start adding ships, adding cargoes, and start matching those. So you can do your matching here. And how simple it is for you. You can go in here, you can add your you can add your ship manually. I'll just go back to the dashboard. You can add your ship manually. It will clearly tell you when you are actually adding, what are the particulars for the ship, which are very, very important. When you're adding cargo, it can tell you what are the, again, the particulars, which are very important while adding a cargo. So this is a very, very brief introduction of our tool. We would appreciate, anyone who's interested. There's no one in the market who is doing this, who can give you that expertise, who can help you understand the real dynamics of how this thing works. I was very new to commercial shipping until last year. Now I think I am at a stage where I understand a lot of things. And when you start looking at a software, when you start adding a ship, when you start adding a cargo, when you start matching those, when you start doing your lay time calculations, when you do your voyage estimation in real time, not while reading the book or doing a certification, that's when you actually start gaining that practical knowledge. So this is what we are trying to change, and this is what we are trying to build. And we have just started last year, and we are on our journey. And we would appreciate if anyone of you would like to explore this software and join us in our journey. Thank you. That's my 10 to 15 minutes, Gaurav.
Thanks, Vikas. So just summarizing this, the idea over here is, in the course, we would simulate the marketplace. And correct me if I'm wrong, Vikas.
Correct.
Right. So we'll have more of role plays happening over here. We probably have an introduction session to the software, and then give role plays wherein you can then simulate how an actual fixing is done, and all the way to the claims as well.
Correct.
So that's the whole idea. Right. Let me take one poll, and maybe I should have taken this poll a little earlier as well, but this is, how big is the AI-based shipping market? And this is based on some research. What do you guys feel? It's 100 million, 300 billion, 500 billion, or 800 million? So have a look at it. It's M and B. M is million and B is billion, and all in USD. And are you aware of any course offering simulator-based training in commercial shipping? So let's have this answers coming in. All right. While the polls are being addressed, Vikas, is a question from Captain Shiv Kumar. Is the IME enterprise version underpinned with the commercial shipping database like Clarkson, Refinitiv, etc.?
Not at this stage, but we will be. Yes, once we have there, but we will be. But at this stage, all our software solutions that we have are standalone solutions. They do tie up end to end, but they are standalone solutions that we have in market. So it's at this stage, no. The answer is no.
All right.
But we do have plans to do that. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. We've got a minute in the poll, and I'll end the poll and share the results. 35% of the participants feel it's USD 300 billion. Second is 800 million. What do you feel, Vikas? What's the answer is?
The correct answer is 300 billion. That's correct. The most of the people answered it correctly. It's a $300 billion digitalization market that we have for commercial shipping. And you will soon see a lot of startups coming in this sector. Like we had, last couple of years, we have a lot of startups in the space tech. Now you will have a lot of startups coming in the blue tech or the marine tech domain. And but it is a huge opportunity. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Vikas. And honestly, when software comes in, there is a lot of interest which it generates, and there are a lot of queries, views which people have. And thanks, Pushkar, Captain Samir, JB, about your views, but we'll probably take them at the end of the session. At this point, let me please call in Dr. Abhay. Dr. Abhay, who is the who works at Gujarat Maritime University. He's on the member of the board, and it is under his guidance and his vision wherein we started to work on the commercial shipping course. We finished the foundation level course, and now the advanced course is getting launched. Sir, Dr. Abhay, if you could provide a overview about the courses that are typically available in the world in India, and why have you partnered, and what do you feel about such kind of courses? Over to you, Dr. Abhay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Captain Gaurav, for giving me the platform. So, as you mentioned, I am working with Gujarat Maritime University. I actually head the Maritime Law Division of the university, and I also am engaged with the Gujarat International Maritime Arbitration Center. I am also in charge of the arbitration rules and manifestation of arbitration proceeding that goes in the arbitration center. So I'll just share the screen, and I'll take you through a presentation that I have prepared particularly for this. Yeah. So this actually is the vision that why we established the Maritime University, and reason why we are collaborating with Sea and Beyond is to do something on the words of the Prime Minister, who has the vision that in the maritime industry, although we have so many commercial good opportunities, and we have so many engineering universities and colleges popping up, the commercial sector nonetheless is behind. And we have these research that we have conducted, wherein we have seen that there have been a boost and there have been expansion of the maritime specific sectors in India and the commercial opportunities, because the government specifically post 2015 has incorporated a huge task to promote the maritime governance in India, particularly after 2015, when the Indian western coast was taken out from the high risk area, which tripled the maritime intake of the country. And in a very short period of time, India has shown a tremendous growth in the maritime sector. So I'll talk with certain data as itself. So this is particularly the global expansion which is happening right now. As you can see from the data speaks for itself. The expected growth. So maritime industry is actually expanding by 3 to 4% annually. It's creating enormous amount of opportunities. The global market, 1.9 trillion to grow of, with a growth of 3 to 7% is reaching 2.4 trillion. And we can see that India's shipping sector has grown from 18 billion to 30 billion by 2025. And it is a 10% increase in the compound average growth rate. The global container traffic has grown from 800 million TEUs to 1.1 billion TEUs by 2025. So you can see here from the data itself, the data speaks for itself. The amount of investment, the amount of expansion is enormous. And it's not just in the growth of infrastructure and the growth of creating more containers. It's also towards decarbonization. The movement of providing green energy and green sector and environmental compliance has boosted the maritime sector, and the opportunities surrounding it are, you can see here, we are in the maritime industry investing 1.9 trillion in decarbonization efforts. They will do that by 2050. So this particularly specific sector of green, of environmental protection is on a boom, and it's all impacts the contracts that you formulate. They will have some clauses that you have to use green fuel or you have to use compliant fuel. If you don't do that, the vessel will be detained. You will have some fines imposed on you, and nobody wants that commercial liability, and nobody wants to basically be fined. So how do you avoid those kind of things? And that for that you have to have a guy who understands the technical part, definitely, which most of the seafarers actually do. But you have to understand the contracting and the commercials as well. Then only you can have a comprehensive understanding that how you can mitigate the chances of arrest and detention, and how you can get rid of the issues related to compliances. You can see that there has been a huge growth in bulk carriage. And after the COVID impact, the cruise industry is also coming back, reaching to 40 billion by 2026. So the projected growth and the existing growth is quite heavy. India's expansion, nonetheless, is very impressive. You can see it's growing at a very, very huge rate with 215 billion by 2025, and creating 1 million jobs in logistics supply chain. You have heavy investment in major large-scale projects like Sagarmala, Bharatmala, Gati Shakti initiatives, where the investment is around 140 billion. So there is a enhancement of, as we know that the condition of the infrastructure at the port in India is not historically has not been that great, and it's improving. But the commendable job that the government has doing, and the number of investment that they are bringing in particularly the port infrastructure investment is huge, and that will lead to a complete revolutionization of the ports, and that will definitely will create and is creating a huge amount of jobs and opportunities in the logistics sector, particularly in India. You can see here approximately 2 lakh workers are employed, and more will be joining the maritime logistics sector. So the environmental regulations, as I was talking about earlier, so because of the heavy demand and stricter environmental regulations, the requirement of having people in having the knowledge of the environmental regulations have jumped, and there has been 8%, there will be 8% more growth in hiring those who understand the environmental regulations as well, and the commercials associated with it. Because specifically when you're making a charter party agreement, you have now new fuels coming up. You have the VLSFO, you have the HSFO. HSFO is the old one, but you have the VLSFO and LNG coming into the market, which is more expensive, and operational conditions associated with it is also quite different. So you have to have those terms and conditions in the charter party agreement also, to basically analyze who will take up the obligations of non-compliance, whether it will be the charterer who will bear the cost, or whether it will be the ship owner who will bear the cost. So those things are very necessary to be settled in the charter party agreement itself. So you have to be very careful about, you have to have a knowledge, at least a very elaborative knowledge, at least regarding the commercials associated with the environmental compliances as well. Furthermore, so ports, as I mentioned earlier, ports are expanding, and major ports in India are expected to increase their capacity. I'm sure you know that there are some 12 major ports in the country. Major ports are majorly governed by the center, and you have more than 220 minor ports in the country, 42 being here in the state of Gujarat. So you have a tremendous opportunities of growth in the country, and you have the major ports which are planning to have a tremendous amount of tonnage capacity, being to 2,500 million tonnage by 2030. So although you have the very, very big ports like Adani port in Mundra, which although is a minor port, but does much more and a lot of business, as equal or even more than Kandla and JNPT. But nonetheless, the major ports expansion plan is out there, and it is projected that they will be crossing the Mundra's carrying capabilities as well. So where does the education sector come into play in this? So you already know about the data, you already know the numbers, that how important shipping is for India. You have 95% of the global trade in India happening through sea. When we talk about volume, and if we talk about value, then it's 70%. So majorly India is relying on shipping for its import and export. That's basically a very heavy reliant on the shipping industry. But unfortunately, we don't know about the fact. Because see, those who are working in the shipping sector, they definitely know. But I saw in the poll that we have a lot of people in this course and who are opted for this who actually don't have an understanding of or who do not understand shipping. So sea blindness is a very, very major issue. The pen that we use every day, the shirt I am wearing, you guys are wearing, I have seen more countries than what we have. They in a single voyage, they'll be moving the raw material will be carried from one country. It will go from a port of call in a different country, and then it will reach to a port of destination in a different country. When it was a raw material, it might have seen some 5-6 countries. When it was manufactured and then it was shipped again, then would have seen again 5-6 countries. So the transportation, the countries, and the logistic nervous system which has been created for global global import and export is crucial and is completely reliant on shipping industry. And we have seen when the Suez Canal blockage occurred, how it shook the global supply chain to the core, and how much reliant we are on these canals as well. Suez Canal, so crucial for the Indian logistics system, and how Indian government now plans to bypass the Suez Canal somehow by creating alternate routes. So these are all very essential developments, because if you don't have a proper logistic nervous system, the logistic flow, if there is a blockage, then the commodities will get more expensive. There will be huge hurdles which will be faced by the common population, and we do not realize this. That's concept is the sea blindness concept, and because we do not realize this, and because that's basically the education's fault, because you're not told about it. Nobody tells you the issues pertaining to the oceans and the importance of the oceans. So we are taught, even regarding the environment, we are taught in our laws, in our schools and in our graduations also, that it's the trees who takes up carbon, who sucks carbon, and who protects the the earth from the global warming, which is incorrect. In reality, these are the oceans. The oceans, the coral, the weed, that absorbs 70% of the global greenhouse gas. But it's not taught to us. That's basically the education's fault, because the education sector is not emphasizing on those things. And when we talk about the education sector, particularly in shipping, we have seen that all the universities, all the institutions, major universities out there are focusing on the technical aspect of it. You have so many colleges coming out with BScs in nautical sciences, engineering, marine engineering. they have completely, you know, as you can see in the slide also, 90% of the programs in India are focused on technical aspect. There are very few who looks into the other aspect, only 10%. You have seen aspect, while only 60% of the jobs are available in the sector. In the technical sector, there is 60% availability, although it has been slightly growing, but there is a 60% availability, 90% educational institutions. So you can see many of the students are doomed for failure. They're setting them up for failure by spreading widespread technical educations, which already you have so many institutions focusing on the same. You have more than 150 institutions in the country focusing on the technical aspect. None of them are concentrating on the commercials. You have the Indian maritime sector it's not fully capacitated. We are not providing sufficient training, and that's the reason, that's the basic sole reason why Gujarat Maritime University was established. You can find us in the government's approach while implementing the Sagarmala initiative also. You can see there that Gujarat Maritime University was established to ensure commercial knowledge, commercial education, to make people more aware about the maritime challenges, to ensure that there is a proper demand and supply, and we can eradicate the gap between the demand and supply, because we have so many opportunities in the commercial shipping, but unfortunately we do not have the number of people. You can see here the breakup as well. You have the demand and ratio, as I told you earlier. For technical initiative, you have a lot of institutions out there, but you have very less number of supply. The demand breakup for all maritime sector, including technical, is 60 to 40. But when we comes to the courses which are completely concentrating on the commercials, it's less. The supply is only 0.8 and the demand on the other hand is 92. So even irrespective of the heavy demand, the supply of the commercial side of it is not there. So that's why we were established, that why Gujarat Maritime University was established, to concentrate initially on the higher education and particularly the commercial education of the country in terms of maritime. So, even when I ask ChatGPT that can ChatGPT tell me about the state of, you can see my question, commercial maritime education in India with numbers, if they can show me some data, what are the commercials maritime institutions. So the information that ChatGPT is giving me is that, they have commercial institutions in India which significantly growing, and it's saying that it is increasing. It says that the number is 150, which I told you earlier also, but it's not including. If you can see the very next picture, when it goes forward and explains this forward, it says approximately 15 and so students engaging in engineering, nautical science, and logical management. Then later on, it tells you what are the courses being offered by the institutions. You can see BSc Nautical Science, Bachelors of Engineering, and Maritime Disciplines. It is not including the aspect that, these courses are technical courses, not commercial courses. So you can see here, even ChatGPT is not able to communicate to you what is the number of commercial education or how the commercial education is growing in the country, because the data is not there, because nobody has worked upon it. So it's such a rare initiative and the opportunities are enormous, but because we saw the numbers speak for itself. But the amount of access to the education and amount of courses are not there. So that's why we have partnered with Sea and Beyond. So for you, because we have some LLM program in maritime law, we have MBA in shipping and logistics, we have an MBA in port management, and we are also coming out with a new course which is for company secretaries, and it will be making the company secretary aware about we are coming out with this one with the Institute of Company Secretary of India. So ICSI. So that will be on maritime regulatory affairs. So we are coming out with huge number of commercial courses. I know, but all of them are 1 year course or 2 year MBA course, 1 year LLM, 2 year MBA course. And we have an executive diploma program also for working professional, but that one is also a 1 year course. So the idea is we don't offer short-term courses, and that's where we are associated with Sea and Beyond, so that we can provide these 3 months, 4 months, 1 month, multiple types and different types of short-term courses. This is one of such initiative. And we will be coming out with many more such short-term courses with C and Beyond to ensure the idea is not profit generation. We are not doing it for money. The only reason we are doing this is because we wish to promote commercial education in the country, and we, as in furtherance of the wishes of the Honorable Prime Minister, we wish to make sure that the opportunities in the maritime sector, for particularly the commercial aspect of maritime sector, is not less. All of you could engage in the commercial maritimes. So the sector is very vast. I have actually a lot of information to give, but I'm sure I've taken a lot of time already. But just to give you an aspect that, these are the essentials associated with commercial maritime. You have a lot in-depth understanding that you need to take. In this course also, it is not possible to teach everything because there are so many areas associated with it. But we will try our best to give you as much as information in the short period of time that I had, that we will have. So I'll end the talk here, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, sir, and very effective and relevant presentation in terms of when you showed that there are so many institutes, but how many of them are actually teaching the non-sailing courses, or hardly any. And kudos to you and Gujarat Maritime University to take up those initiatives. One of the more important things which you mentioned and was that it's a non-profit. I mean, you're not looking after profit. You are looking to enhance the entire sector.
Yes, sir, because we are a government organization, so we don't generate on revenue. What we are governed by Gujarat Maritime Board, so we are funded, and we are particularly moving forward towards what Prime Minister wants, which is the global expansion of shipping and the commercial improvement of commercial maritime improvement of India. So there is no profit motive that we are moving forward with.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks, everyone. I'll now take you through and discuss more about the advanced course. And this, of course, we are launching with Gujarat Maritime University. Before launching this, we have talked to a lot of companies. We have talked to candidates. We have understood what the market requires. So there's a lot of research which is done before launching this particular course, which is at advanced level. We've already finished a foundation level course, those of you who came a little later. The course objective is to equip participants with deep understanding of the operations, have practical learning experience, right? So the foundation was more of theoretical. Of course, we had a company visit there, but this one will have more hands-on learning. This one will have more role plays. We'll build a strong stakeholder management skills and prepare professionals for the leadership roles. Key highlights of the course is role play, right? And that's where when an online role play, a physical role play, both of these will happen. You'll have a simulation tool as well, and you would have an in-person session. It will be a hybrid program, which the in-person session is planned at Gandhinagar at GMU's campus. It's a 5-week course. It's hybrid course, 8 online sessions over 4 weeks. So Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 1, 10 to 1. That's when the online sessions would happen. 3 offline sessions in one go, 2.5 days of those sessions, wherein we will have more of role plays coming through, wherein we'll, have people work as a broker, as a charterer, as a vessel owner, and wherein the concepts which have been taught will be implemented, right? So what kind of charter party should be made, what kind of clause should be there, why it should be there. There will be an an offline negotiation would happen. So that's essentially what would happen. We would have the recording of the sessions as well, which will be shared only to the participants. This is what the course curriculum is going to look like. We're starting on 5th October, which is the coming Saturday. That's a session 1 and session 2, 3 hours each session. Initially, we are talking about the common stuff, right? The claims handling, the vessel performance part, wherein we are giving you a more broader outlook. And then we are going more deep into, the stakeholder management. We've talked about stakeholders in the foundation course, but over here, we'll talk more about stakeholder management. So, which would also include communication skills, which will also include a bit of email etiquettes as well. So all of those things will come, and then the commercial support across departments is what we will be talking about. Then we get in depth about the market terminology, the freight market terminology, the Incoterms, more about the Baltic Exchange, the Platts report, the world scales, and then we will explain charter parties, right? In terms of charter party, we'll pick up one charter party each, and we will explain to you why that charter party is or when the charter party is changed. How can it be made more better for one of the stakeholders involved, and the simulation of which will be done later on in the campus as well. Then, of course, we talk about recruitment, we talk about arbitration processes as well. This is for you to get an overview on how the entry is, and more about the claims settlement process. Then, of course, comes the simulation using IME, Integrated Maritime Exchange. Then we go on we go to GMU. The dates over here are tentative. We'll probably have to change, may have to change these dates, but because it's Diwali season also at that point of time, either this or maybe a week later could possibly happen, which we will give you at least 2 to 3 weeks notice before telling you the offline dates. To name a few, the faculty members are there: Krishnan Sir, Captain Ashok, Dr. Abhay, Vikas Gadoo, and we'll have a few more industry people who would be in the course as well. These are testimonials of the foundation course. This is our first advanced level course, but people who did the foundation level course, they've enjoyed it, and that's the reason why they've given a few testimonials as well. Yep, I think this is more about the course, and we'll share, of course, the brochure as well. And we are now open to take in questions which you may have about the course or otherwise as well. We are open for these questions. Any age restriction for joining the commercial chartering department? This is from Captain Ramesh. Captain Ashok, would you want to take this question, please?
Can you see me?
Yes, sir. We can see you. So the question from Captain Ramesh is there an age restriction for joining the commercial chartering department?
I joined the commercial at the age of 40. So it's more ability, but the younger you are, obviously, the better it is, because remember, you're dealing with contemporaries. I told you, it's all people you're dealing with. It's a very people-to-people business. So you're dealing with you obviously are much easier of dealing with people in your own age group. And the more senior you get, you tend to take a step back and let the younger people deal with it. So it is essentially a young man's industry, but there are enough senior people around who are hands-on brokers. But yes, it's the earlier you get in, the better it is. But there is no age limit. But like I told, I came in at 40, but that was considered a little bit late, even 20 years ago.
Right. Thank you, sir. I think what I'll do is Gaurav Pillu, my colleague, has a couple of slides on the eligibility criteria, because I see a lot of questions over there. He'll probably discuss about the eligibility criteria, how can you enter into the course, and the fees. And then we'll probably take more questions. So in the meanwhile, you can keep on writing the questions, but Gaurav will quickly tell us about the eligibility criteria.
Hey, thank you very much. And indeed, it was a very insightful session from our speakers. So quickly, I will just take you through the procedure, how and who can enroll into the course, right? So give me a moment, I'll share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep, now we can.
Okay, great. So a lot of you may have seen or may have come across this promotion that we have been doing throughout the social media and all. So to enroll into the advanced course, commercial shipping course, basically we have already done a foundation level course, right? So the very first criteria is the candidates who have completed the introduction to commercial shipping course. So this will be the first criteria. So all the candidates who have done our foundation level course are automatically eligible to the advanced course. Of course, there was an assessment, and those who have successfully completed the assessment, right? So, needless to say that. So, this is the first criteria. The second criteria is personal from commercial shipping background, right? So, there are candidates who may be having some past experience into commercial shipping. They may have worked in a broker's office or a chartering office. Um, they may, if they would like to refresh the knowledge or gain some more insights, they can also enroll themselves for the commercial shipping advanced course, right? So this will be the second criteria for the enrollment. Now going forward, there may be more participants. Like I can see here, we have more almost 100 plus participants today who might be interested to get in on board to the advanced course. So in that case, what we have done is we have designed an entrance test, which you will have to appear. And if you successfully complete that entrance test, we will certainly take your enrollment to the advanced course. So this is the criteria for everybody else. For the above two candidates, you may not have to do any assessment or entrance test. The entrance test is basically for other candidates who don't fall into the above two categories. So this is basically about the eligibility criteria. Now going forward, just a few things about eligibility test. So the eligibility test will be mostly of a MCQ type questions. So there'll be about 30 MCQ type questions. The duration of the test will be 45 minutes. And the session timings will be on Tuesday. The first session is scheduled for Tuesday, that is 1st of October from 1900 to 2200. Now, please see that these timings are almost 1900 to 2200. So basically, it gives you a window when you can basically log in and appear the test. However, the complete duration of the test remains 45 minutes, right? So that is one thing to be noted. So those candidates who are not able to attend on Tuesday will have another opportunity on Wednesday. That is the 2nd of October, which is the time for the timings are 1200 to 1600 hours. So these are times, the second available timings again. So these are the assessment timings. Now, the registered candidates can appear for the test. So basically what here it means is in order to appear the test, first you'll have to register with us. We'll need to get your data in terms of email ID and basic information like email ID and mobile numbers. We will register you onto a assessment platform, and then onwards we will create a test for you, and you can then appear for it. So my team will start contacting you starting tomorrow, and we'll try to gain as much details from you. I mean, your timings with regard to timings and all, and we will allot your time slots accordingly. So once candidates are registered into the assessment, we will share the procedure, how to attempt the test. Okay, so we'll also share with you how to go about the assessment process, because it's you will have to appear with your cameras on. You will have to have a good internet connections. So all those basic stuff we will share how to attempt the test. So this is what all about the eligibility test is, and the sessions when we are going to have the eligibility test. Okay. Now, what to expect in the test? Basically, what we are want is to have what we are expecting from the candidates is to have a brief understanding, at least to certain level, on all the commercial aspects. Like, for example, it could be charter parties, it could be common forms, the standard forms which are used for, let's say, time charters or voyage charters, ASBA, NYP, etc. Those things. Maybe some knowledge on Incoterms, perhaps world scale, etc. So basically, to have you in line or at least to the same level with our candidates who are in introduction course. So that is the expectation and the information about the assessment. I would be happy to address any questions on that. Maybe over to you, Captain Rana.
Thank you. The course fees is what I think candidates are asking. So the course fee for a person who is coming directly into this, the advanced course, is INR 60,000. And the people who are coming from foundation course would be 42,000. So 30% discount to the people who have done the foundation level course and now want to do the advanced course. Right. And let me now start taking the questions. If you have Piyush, your question has been answered. Jeet, Mahala, I guess your question has also been answered. You can, if you feel that you have the necessary knowledge, go and attempt the questionnaire, and you should be able to understand whether you are the right fit. Because what we don't want in the advanced level course is that the course to be dragged down because people may not know the foundation level concept. So we will go a little strong, a little bit on the advanced side, and that's the reason why we have kept the test. Right. I think what I missed to also communicate is the job opportunities after the course. So what we are doing at Gujarat Maritime University's campus is that after the 2 days of session, we will have companies coming in to look at how the candidates have performed. So on the last day, we will most likely have a group discussion. So in the group discussion, we'll have all the candidates and we will give you a scenario about, what do you feel about a particular clause, or, one particular scenario which we are going to give you guys. And then the group has to answer that. And based on when you are answering, the persons from the shipping industry would be there. The recruiters would be there, and they may ask further questions from you. They would assess you, and either the idea is that they can then offer a internship or a temporary or a permanent job to you at that time, or at a later stage as well, if they don't have anything at that point of time. Right now, we've had at least 3 to 4 companies who have verbally informed us that they will be coming to review the candidates to at the third day of the session, the physical session. They will be attending those sessions. A couple of companies are outside India as well. So the idea is that we will ensure that there are at least 10 companies. So to all the candidates who participate, we will ensure that there are at least 10 companies globally who are there to hire. We cannot guarantee an employment, and I repeat, we are not guaranteeing an employment, but an audience to the company is what we are guaranteeing. And hopefully things take up from there. The idea is to, shorten the gap which is there in the industry, and to address the gap which is in terms of the skills which companies want. So I think I've answered the question to Prathamesh, Surjit. Online session, this is from Captain Satyajit. Online session on the campus. So he's asking whether the campus session can be online as well. So Dr. Abhay, may I have your inputs on this, please?
See, I will not recommend it because if you make it online or even hybrid, then people don't show up and then you don't have that experience. You actually lose that experience to actually being face to face with all the industry folk. And if we arrange this, it'll open a plethora of opportunities for everyone who participates. So I will recommend that we don't do it online, we don't do it hybrid. I would like everyone to come here, connect, we'll host you, we'll have some good lunch and coffee, and we'll have some fun here. So it'll be worthwhile if we can do it offline itself.
I think the recommendation over here, and that is what I would also suggest, is that we have all of you coming in over to the campus to attend the course. That's where it's better for you, right? It's easy for us to probably create an only online one as well. We've had a bit of an experience wherein in the last session we gave people an option of attending it online, but maybe about 50% people showed up. So recommendation is for you to come here at the campus.
Yeah.
Prakash question is, if you're doing a particular course, can you concurrently do this? You can. Prakash, concurrently do it. It's over the weekends. Ekansh, your question is to join commercial shipping after sailing at management level. Honestly, my view is that to a little bit more senior guys, the operations part, the post-fix ops is where a lot of companies are hiring at 40, 45 as well. On the prefix, probably a little younger guys are better, and I may ask Captain Ashok to give his inputs on this, sir. This is a question from Ekansh.
See, at the end of the day, the bottom line is skills, right? If you're a skilled operator, if you're a skilled master mariner who's done a damn good job out at sea, your owner is likely to be open to taking you in ashore. So irrespective of what your age is, 40, 45, whatever it is. But it is always better because this is not a retirement job. It's an absolutely new career that you're starting out, right? It's in the same industry, but it's a new career. So it's best anybody who tries to, who really is serious about coming ashore, comes ashore as early as possible, not as late as possible. So, and how early is early and how late is late, these are all very subjective. But try to come in. If you're serious about coming ashore, you really want it, come now. Forget about your age. Try, give it a crack. At the end of the day, there is a lot of luck involved. You have to be the right person at the right time at the right place. Of course, you have to have the right skills. Right person is extremely important. So if you guys are interested in the job, forget about the age part. It's not a government job. There's no retirement in this. Remember, commercial shipping guys are the guys who last the longest in the industry. We know brokers who are 70 years old and still probably right at the top of their professions today. I can tell you one Indian broker, the top Indian broker today is in his 70s. So forget about the age part of it. Focus on the job. If you think you're right for it, go for it, and then leave the rest up to the old man up there. So just don't create a hurdle for yourself. Oh, am I too old? Am I too young? Forget it. Just go for it. That's my opinion, and that's what my experience has taught me. I mean, people thought I'm telling you, I came out when I was 39 years old, and people thought I was too old even then. I've survived about 20 odd years in this business even then, since then. So forget about the age part of it. Focus on upskilling yourself and see whether you're suited. It's not an easy industry. It's difficult. It's highly selective as far as allowing people in. But then that's why it's so alluring. That's why it pays best. I can tell you one thing, especially on the chartering and broking side, the best salaries or the best emoluments are given to the charterers and the brokers, the chartering executives and the brokers.
Thanks a lot, sir. Aftan's Raj's question is, will the certification give a boost to our profile? And let me have Dr. Abhay answer this question, please.
Can you please repeat, sir?
Question from Aftan Raj is, will the certification give a boost to our profile?
Certainly, see, knowledge always helps. So certification will definitely assist you, aid you, since it is coming from, we are issuing it, and it's a government, funded organization, and you'll have the opportunity to be taught by such leading professionals from the industry. So definitely, it will assist in enhancing your employability. You'll have a tag, and you'll have some document as well to show that you have done and have acquired certain knowledge and expertise in the area of commercial shipping. Particularly if you have both of the certifications, the foundation one and the advanced one. If you have both, then it shows that you have a longer dedication and seriousness towards the growth in the commercial shipping. So that will have a better and the wider impact. But with this course also, it gives a kind of a evidence and boost that you have acquired at least certain amount of understanding and knowledge of the commercial aspect of shipping. So I hope that clears it out a little bit. So it will act as enhancing your CVs for sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon.
Sorry, all right. If anyone wants has a question, you will please raise your hands, and then we'll let you speak. That'll be better. So if you have a question, if you want to speak up, please raise your hand. I'll take the question from Rishabh right now, and the question is, will CNBeyond provide any notes for test preparation? So what we'll do is, you can't learn in the next 2 to 3 days, but for you to pass the exam. But if you feel that you already have the necessary knowledge, right, the foundation level knowledge, then enroll for the test. We'll take a poll over here and say yes, then we'll connect with you and enroll you for the course or enroll you for the test. We'll have a session as to what kind of questions would be there, how do you enroll. We'll talk you through the platform as well. So all of that will be there. We'll of course tell you that what would the session what kind of questions would be there. We'll give you all of that overview, Rishabh, so you'll have a view on what the questions would be about. Yeah. All right. Okay. Gaby has raised his hands. Gaby, you can speak up, please.
Thank you. So, hi, good afternoon, all. So just a few questions here. One is with Dr. Abhay. So, about this maritime law which we are talking about, that currently, usually the marine insurance people use UK or US based law, Indian maritime law, and we do not have any insurance companies as such who deals with marine insurance. So, are we doing anything about it? Like, as in India, is something being done about that?
Yes.
And secondly, about the integrated maritime, the software. So wherein we put in the details, we mentioned about the charter party, the CP is being added into the software. So are the companies willing to put in the software? Because CP is something which the companies usually do not like to share it with anybody, the technical terms and all. So are companies ready to share it with the software agencies, and how secure is it? because I have seen in my company itself the questions being raised about not sharing confidential CP informations in any of the online softwares.
I can I can take that question, Gaurav, if you want.
I think let's have a quick answer, but to all, we let the Q&A be limited about the course. I think Vikas has already answered the question on the chat as well for you, Gabby, to have a look. But let's have the questions about the course, because we can actually discuss a lot about the software. There are a lot of points about the other courses to be discussed, but I want this to be a little bit more specific. What I can do is, Gabby, I can connect you to Vikas later on. You have the email ID. Just email it to us, and you can, and I'll connect to you to Vikas and Dr. Abhay separately about the other two topics which you have. If that's okay, Gabby, please.
Sure, no problem. Yes, thank you.
Whatever I can address also, it's not an issue. I can
Sure.
just 2 minutes. I'll just inform that in India, the Ministry of Shipping has created the Indian Maritime Center, wherein the Ministry of Port and Shipping has also planned to bring in Indian P&I Club. So they are working on that particular movement. And secondly, thanks to Captain Gaurav himself, we are entering into an MOU with the IGPNI, and they will be leading a lot of conferences and courses, particularly making people aware about the marine insurance aspect. So that's particularly what we are doing in the maritime insurance expansion. So that's a short answer I think I can give.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. An interesting question, and I would like Captain Ashok, you to answer this, please. And this is from Kulkarni. How is the work pressure in the commercial job?
Have you ever tried to sell anything? I'm asking Kulkarni, have you ever tried to sell anything?
Yes, sir. I
You have?
have. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Did you face any pressure trying to sell?
Yes, to convince the opposite person.
Okay, what did you try to sell?
Prior just joining into shipping, I was working in a call center for a mobile company. It was Threef with UK. So I was selling the contracts for them.
Okay. All right. So it's basically something tangible, right? You were selling?
Right.
Okay. Okay. Now this is a business about selling and buying. And
Okay.
it's a highly dynamic business. I told you the market just lies in the mind space of the persons involved. And and the most difficult job is a broker's job because he's selling something that is not tangible. He's selling a service which is competitive. There are a lot of other people who sell the same service, and you can't define the service. So that a lot of pressure is involved in selling that service because you can't define it. There is no physical parameter which you can use to define it. And it's a no cure, no pay service. So if a broker tries to sell a service, if he's successful, he gets paid. If he's not successful, the company does not get paid. So that is the pressure that's on the broker. As far as the charterer is concerned, the charterer has to get the most economical rate for leasing the space out, leasing the space in to carry his cargo. The market, I told you, is dynamic. So and all the information is not out there. A lot of business in shipping is done privately, quietly. So it all depends on the network of contacts that the charterer's executive has. How good his information is when he's actually agreeing to pay for the space that he's leasing in. The same problem with the owner. Is the owner getting the best money? The owner has to maximize his earnings. So he has to get the best rate for the space that he's selling. His ship is 100. I told you it could be anywhere from 30 to 100, $150 million, maybe $200 million if it's an LNG ship. So yes, he's selling a ship which costs tens of thousands of dollars a day just to run. Forget about making profits. A VLCC today costs 40,000. New build VLCC costs upwards of $45,000 a day just to break even. And then it'll break if you run it at $45,000 a day for 20 years, you'll break even on it. So you can imagine the kind of pressure. And a charterer is like I'm telling you, I'm using again. It's a habit of mine to use the VLCC market as a bellwether because that gives you scale, but that's right at top of the scale. For a VLCC charterer, you're negotiating space for a cargo that will cost in today's market terms $140 million. That cargo, can you imagine? That cargo has to be from the time that the charterer buys the cargo to the time he sells the cargo could be about 50 days. And can you imagine the kind of interest that is involved in having a credit line of $140 million for 50 days? Even if it's just 3 or 4% interest. And can you imagine the kind of liabilities involved in not being able to lift the cargo in time and not being able to deliver the cargo in time? And suppose there's an accident on the ship, there's pollution. So yes, in short, it's a very, very probably the most high pressure job in shipping there is. So don't think any other way. It's an extremely high pressure job. You should enjoy the pressure. Because if you're not going to enjoy the pressure, there's no point even looking at coming into this line.
All right, so thank you.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
Right. Thanks a lot, sir. But Vishal is asking how frequently the courses would happen. It will happen twice to thrice a year. We'll try and do it once in a quarter or maybe once in 4 months. It's what the plan is. Foundation course is already completed, Heather, and we'll probably have the next one from January. Gaurav Jain, the number of seats are about 25. Last date of registration is 3rd October. While we have written the answers, but I'm just reading them out so that if anyone else has a similar question, they know about it. All right, so Captain Satyajit noted. Nikhil, he's keen to interested in chartering broking segment and the scale it operates. Can you please help me how to go about it? Okay. So those who have questions, write to education@cnbeyond.com. And Captain Samir's question is it possible that a campus visit at the end of November as said? So, all right. So what we are going to do is since the campus visit is still not confirmed, we will probably before Diwali, we will take a poll from the candidates and from the companies. And of course, the priority has to be given to the companies because if we are having at least 10 companies coming in for later on for recruitment, we have to see which date are most of them comfortable, right? So basis that we will schedule the campus session. We cannot give you a confirmed date. What we can tell you, it will happen in November, probably either 2nd or 3rd week. So the immediate week after Diwali or the week after that. So those are the two tentative timelines which we have for the campus visit. All right, Tarun has a question. Tarun, you've raised your hand. Please, you may speak up.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, Tarun, we can hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. This is I'm working as a chief officer on chemical tankers. So my question is, I am due for my master's. So will be beneficial to join in commercial shipping after doing master, or is it okay to join now before doing masters? And second question is, some of my colleagues said after master you take the command and then join commercial shipping. So what will be the difference of joining now or joining after master ticket or after taking command?
I'll probably request Captain Ashok to answer this question, please.
It's a matter of personal choice. I've told you it's beneficial. The earlier you enter, the better it is. So if you visualize a career for yourself ashore, it's best just to come ashore as ASAP. And as it is, you're going to start out at entry level. Because whether you come in as a master or chief officer, it's not really going to make a material difference as far as the responsibilities that you're going to handle are concerned. Maybe a little bit on the salary wise because of your last salary drawn, but it depends. I mean, a lot of us who came, for me, it was, I mean, for me, it was important to get my command and spend some time in command and then come ashore. But I don't think getting your command is important if you want to come ashore and get into the commercial space. In fact, a lot of the people I've seen, ex-seafarers who've who've done well and really moved up ahead and gone to the top of the hierarchy in commercial shipping are people who've come to commercial shipping earlier rather than later. Everybody likes to write a captain in front of their name. It's an ego thing, but I don't believe there is much material benefit in becoming a captain and then coming into commercial. Of course, you have experience. It's a personal, probably a personal milestone you reach, but I think it's more personal than anything else. And the fact, and maybe a kind of a kick you get being able to write captain in front of your name, nothing else. That's my opinion.
Right. I think, Tarun, also just to add on to it, we Sea and Beyond is partnered to more than 150 companies wherein we are helping them in their recruitment ashore jobs. So the trend which I have seen probably 10 years back, companies would have preferred to hire a master. But nowadays, what I see is that there is, I mean, companies are okay. They are not giving much preference, or I mean, to someone who has sailed as master. And in fact, in the commercial side of things, as wherein we are dealing more with cargo handling and all, they are more than okay to have mates as well. And I've seen a lot of people, as Captain Ashok also mentioned, who have gone to the top, not without a master's license as well.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. What about the beneficial in the promotional aspect in this, or if you have one is master and one is chief officer, so will be any difference in that, or it will be same for both?
As what Captain Ashok also mentioned, and as what I also seen, we've seen in the market, people have risen to the top of the corporate ladder without having a master's license. So what depends is that in which field do you want to make a career? If it's in commercial, I don't think I mean, there will be a lot of difference. But if you probably would want to enter into, say, maybe training, right, or pilotage, wherein the skills which you gain as master or the experience matters on board the ship, that's where there will probably be a level to which a mate could rise. But in these kind of fields, like for example, crewing, if I may take commercial, I don't think there is any inhibition as such.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for my questions.
Sure.
Sorry, one just to interrupt and just to add one more point. There are many engineers who have actually transformed their career from sailing to commercial shipping as well, and they are doing very good in their job.
Right. Let me take a question from Captain Satyajit, and I'll then let Avtan's Raj speak. So, yes, so Captain Satyajit, to those who are unable to attend the campus session, we will do these courses, recurring courses will happen, and then you may attend the session in the next batch when it comes. So that's how we would plan it for you, Captain Satyajit, or for anyone else. Over to you, Avtan's Raj. You may speak up.
Yeah, sir, actually, I was looking forward for getting enrolled with ICS and doing my specialization into dry cargo chartering. So, actually, probably a few months back, we had an webinar regarding enrolling process and all. So, the window was opened earlier in the mid of June or August. So, how this C and Beyond and partnering with the GMU would help, would give a benefit to me, getting into enrolled this course, not to the ICS currently, because I'm just would be entering the market and would be entering the industry right away if I'm stepping forward.
All right. Okay. Sure. So number one, we are in the process of registering ourselves as a registered organization. That's what they call RO, a registered partner. Sorry, registered partner with ICS. So which means that the courses which we offer would also have ICS accreditation. Number two, the courses which we are conducting, we have applied for exemption for ICS for a couple of subjects of ICS, right? I've met the top guys in ICS in Chennai a couple of weeks back, and I've shown the course, and that's where they were happy about it, and I hope that exemption comes through. Number three, ICS, when you write these exams, you may have to maybe get some tuition or get some learning before you sit for these exams, because these are costly exams, 250, I guess about $200 pounds for each paper. I believe you will not be, you wouldn't have to sit for any tuitions or any preparatory classes for apply for these examinations. Number four, in most of the ICS modules, it's more of theoretical learning, right? Wherein you have they give you books, but you have to, if you want any preparatory classes, then you'll have to pay separately for it, which is fairly expensive. And over a course like this, you get practical learning from industry professionals, and of course you have the companies coming in for your hopefully to induct people at the end as well. So that I hope that answers your question, Avtansraj.
Yeah, sir, it's clear. And for each and every specialization, we have to pay for the classes which we have selected for.
These are optional. You may not have to pay for the classes if you're applying for ICS. You may not have to pay. These are optional, right? But a lot of students do that. So if you do this course, you would not have to, sit in most of the classes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure. Over to you, Kulkarni. You have a question. You may speak up.
So what is the salary expectation after completing this course when you get a job?
Yeah, so first of all, we're not guaranteeing a job, right? Let's be very clear. We're not guaranteeing any job. It depends on how you perform. When the companies come, they have a role. It depends on that. Typically, what I can tell you is the salaries which are there in the market at various levels, right? If you're a fresh guy, by fresh I mean no commercial experience, getting into prefix, maybe about from and depends on the position that you are sailed at, right? You could be a cadet, you could be a second officer, or I mean, or a third engineer, or a chief engineer master. So it could be in the prefix, maybe about 60,000-70,000 odd as a starting, and it could go all the way to 1.5 lakhs as a starting on the prefix side. On the postfix side, generally from a second mate, third engineer level, it's probably around 1.5 to all the way till about 3 lakh rupees a month is what you get. It includes this is called CTC. The taxes and all will be cut from there. That's the market standard.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Jay, you may speak up, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Actually, my question is regarding means my career option. Means like I'm into crewing with a manning agency. Means like one of my colleague earlier, prior coming in crewing, he suggested me to go in commercial shipping. Means like chartering and brokerage or something like freight forwarding. But at that time, I was not having that much of exposure and knowledge about the commercial shipping and all. So now it's been almost 2 years or 2.5 years in crewing. So now I'm thinking like is it a good option for me to switch in commercial? And if I'll switch, means like my prior experience will be countable or not? And I'm a non-shippy guy.
So I think if you could also advise, are you in sourcing on operations? And I'll request Captain Ashok to possibly take this question.
Into hardcore sourcing, means like hardcore sourcing.
Okay, good. Captain Ashok, over to you.
The skills required for a commercial job are you have to have good interpersonal skills. You have to have a degree of ability to sell. But it's interpersonal skills that are very important, and it's very difficult to quantify, or very difficult to crystallize on a piece of paper what is the biodata, the perfect biodata for a person who should get into commercial shipping. There is no written prescription. A guy has to be he has to be personable. He or she has to be personable. He has to like selling. He should be a marketing. Basically, what we are looking for is in this business is a marketing person. So at every stage, whether in whatever part is broker's office, owner's office, charter's office, ability to sell is extremely important. Only if you're good at selling will you be good at buying. So basically, whatever your background, whatever you've done in the past, I mean, if you're good at if you're good at selling, you're a good salesperson. You like people. You like socializing. You're an engaging conversationalist. You like networking. These are the attributes required. There is absolutely no written prescription for who's going to succeed in commercial shipping. But these attributes are necessary.
Thank you, sir. And just out of a topic question, means like in sourcing, means like we need to bluff, means like this bluffing is a main thing in sourcing. So is it the same thing in commercial shipping?
If you bluff, you'll get caught very, very quickly. It's a very transparent market.
Okay, so means like we need to be fully transparent and crystal clear. Like we don't have to bluff anything.
Well, you don't have to be Harish Chandra, but yes, you don't have to. You can't lie. You can't lie. You'll get caught. I can tell you that.
Oh, okay, sir. And sir, just wanted to know, means like I'm a MBA in marketing and HR. Means like switching would be a good option for me. Means like I'm a kind of good negotiator. Means like as of my studies on myself, means I'm a good socialization person. But just wanted to know, means prospect, means like switching from sourcing to commercial, it would be like career growth for me, or means like I'm just kind of confused, means going through the pros and cons, means I'm a bit of means very much confused.
You have to do the course and figure out whether you're good enough or not. It's very
Okay.
difficult without you doing the course, without you seeing what the course is all about, without us seeing how you perform in the course, the others to make a judgment call on that. That's why we're having the course, right?
Okay, sir.
It's very difficult to make a call right now.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your guidance.
Thanks for being transparent, Jay, about how the crewing department works. And just to give you a perspective, there is honestly no limit in terms of the remuneration that you can get when you are in commercial, because it all depends on how many people are you able to, or how many deals are you able to crack. I mean, a good this thing for you, reference for you could be how many people are you able to source. If you are a good sourcing, So sir, then this could be one of the areas which you could consider. Right, I don't see any.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Will think about it and take some guidance from my senior and all. Means like I'll try to opt for this course and just need some time. Thank you so much.
Right, I don't see any other questions, and let me take a poll on if you would be interested in this course. There are two questions in the same poll window. First question is, are you interested in the commercial shipping course? Yes, you need more information, not sure, no. And if you are interested, or if you would like to try out, would you want to give the qualifying exam? So we have two dates, and date and time wherein we would have the examination. It will be on Tuesday, and the timings are in IST. Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and on Wednesday from 12 to 4 p.m. Right, Gaurav?
That's correct. 12 to 4 p.m. Afternoon session,
right.
12 o'clock.
Okay. Right. Okay. And I look forward to having a more participation in this poll, please. We've got about 50% of you who have voted. Whatever it is, you need more information, no, yes, whatever you would like, do let us know. Wait for another 10 seconds for people to answer on the poll, and then we will stop the poll. Last 5 seconds, and we ended the poll. You may also write to education@cnbeyond.com if you have any queries. And my last poll over here is in terms of you might have some expectations when you enrolled for this webinar. Were those expectations met, and was the session useful for you? And how would you rate the session? Three questions over here, please. And if you would like to also advise any improvements in terms of the conduct of the webinar, in terms of the topics which we have, or anything else, the way we have communicated, please, you may write to us in the chat window. We are absolutely open to, and more, we want that feedback, or you can also write on education@cnbeyond.com. Gaurav, can you also put in the link where people could possibly see the course? Right.
Yeah, in a minute.
Okay, I'm ending the poll and sharing the results. And I see a couple of people where, the expectations were not met, and you may please write it in the chat window, or we'll connect to you separately as well. But mostly, I believe that people are satisfied with the conduct of the session, and the ratings of the session are either good or excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's a weekend, Sunday morning, and we've managed to have about 75, 80 of you for maybe more for the larger part of the session. And thanks to all the participants. A special thanks to our panelist, Captain Ashok, Dr. Abhay, Vikas, Krishnan sir had to leave earlier, but thank you all of you for being here. You've been here for 2 hours 15 minutes. That's a lot of time, and yeah, we hope to continue the work which we are doing, and we look forward to your feedback and improving further as well. Thanks everyone for being here in the session.